entrando en zona de gravedad cero, saliendo de zona de entrando en zona de gravedad, saliendo de zona de gravedad, entrando en zona de gravedad, saliendo de zona de gravedad, entrando en zona de gravedad cero, saliendo de zona de gravedad cero.
Buenas tardes muchachos, acá venimos con otro juego, les habla Rulie y bueno, vamos a jugar Stanley Parable, que es un juego que toda acción que hagamos afecta el desarrollo del juego. Vamos a ver qué tal. Bueno, hasta donde entiendo hay un narrador y el narrador le dice a uno qué es lo que supuestamente uno debería hacer, pero uno puede tomar una decisión diferente y oponérsele, o le puede hacer caso, así que depende de la circunstancia, veré si le hago caso o no. Depende de qué tan importante sea. A ver.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
¿Qué pasa si le doy clic? Ay, ven, ya empecé. Supongo que decía que esta era la historia de un tipo, no sé, extraño, que se encierra en su casa, en su oficina, y que solo trabaja. Pero no me veo a mí mismo. A ver, pues me agacho. Fuck, no debí saltar, ¿no? Bueno, no importa. Vamos por acá. Veamos qué pasa.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Es que estoy revisando a ver si hay bala. Tal vez haya bala o una medicina.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Sí, ya voy. A ver, ¿qué pasa? Voy a... Epa, déjame entrar. Renuncio. Uy, esa puerta se abre de lado y lado. LOL. Epa. ¿Y qué pasó con nuestro querido narrador? Ya se cayó, ya se arrepiente de sus tontas palabras.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Bueno, acá está lo complicado. Si voy a la derecha, él se enojará y me caga todo el juego. Si voy a la izquierda, se pone feliz, pero no sé si pasa algo interesante. Bueno, voy por la derecha, le hago caso, señor narrador. Debería llamarlo... ¿Qué nombre? ¿Qué es un típico nombre de narrador?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Bueno, se va a llamar... Pedro. Bueno, por ahora no se me ocurre nada mejor, así que Pedro. Bala.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
No, yo quiero bala. Ay, no.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
¿Qué pasa si bajo? Ya no me gustó. Vamos arriba. Vamos arriba. No sé si el micrófono se escucha bien. Y... bueno, ya que... ¿por dónde? Izquierda, derecha. No se abre. Bueno, el juego tiene unas gráficas respetables. La jugabilidad, pues... no es que sea gran vaina. Pero la historia supuestamente es lo increíble.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
Y curiosamente sé todo esto.
2845.
Bueno, a mí
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Sí, claro, yo no podía saber esto. ¿Por qué me lo dice, sapo? Y, o sea, me da más miedo que las puertas se cierran detrás de mí. Y este tipo que...
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could
sí,
never
bueno,
possibly
ya.
know that the combination was 2845.
Bueno, no, es contradictorio y... Hijo de puta. ¿Cuál es? Ya me olvidó.
2845.
Autodestrucción, autodestrucción. No. No pasó nada.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself.
Gracias.
And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Muchas gracias, Pedro. Bueno, ¿y esto qué? Por acá puedo salir. No hay bala. Necesito un arma. Paso por acá. Bueno, acá va a pasar algo, cargando. Bueno, hasta ahora está bueno, hasta ahora está bueno. Vamos a ver con qué nos va a sorprender nuestro querido amigo Pedro. Pedro el hablador. Pedro el boca grande.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar.
Sí,
It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job.
No, yo
Why
solo
did
quiero...
he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Yo solo quiero ir a comer. Hola. ¿Hay alguien?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
¿Y por qué le pondrían ese nombre? ¿Por qué no le ponen un nombre más original o más disimulado como lavado de cerebros o porno o no entrar? Si la luz está prendida, llamar al 914 inmediatamente. Bueno, necesito un teléfono. Necesito un maldito teléfono. Ya sé, Pedro me quiere violar. Eso es lo que quiere Pedro. Me está secuestrando y luego... A ver, escape. Fuck. Otro dilema moral.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his
Bueno,
death.
voy a ir
Of
por
course,
allá.
Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Sí, tengo mucho que comer en mi casa. Esa nevera no se puede vaciar sola. Joder. Claro, y se cierran las puertas. Coño.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Tengo hambre. Bueno, acá... What the fuck? ¿Qué coño es esto? Cámaras.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Bueno, Pedro, ¿y por qué me está mostrando esto a mí y no a las 400 personas más? Pues no sé, no. Yo le debo plata o le caigo bien o... A ver, ascensor.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
No sé, tengo hambre.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never.
Sí,
It was
armas.
unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Ay, yo solo quiero comer, esa es una buena vida, no importa el
But here was
resto.
the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Bueno, yo escuché que dijo comida. Por acá debe haber comida. A ver. Oh, apagado. ¿Qué pasa si me hago acá? Esto es muy grande, no sé qué hacer. Ni no ni no no ni no ni. ¡Destrucción! Bueno, pero ¿qué tengo que hacer? ¿Cómo los desmantelo? Si ni siquiera tengo pies, ni siquiera tengo manos. No puedo salir y ya. Ay, Pedro. Pedrito. Háblame, Pedrito. Yo sé que tú sabes qué hay que hacer. Pedro. Hostia puta. Bueno, no sé qué tan largo está yendo el video, pero por ahí viene, ¿cierto? Ay, mejor no va a destruir nada y que Pedro se pudra. Púdrete, Pedro. Idle, ¿qué es idle? No sé qué es idle. Waiting.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power,
¿Por qué no
he
me
knew it
ayudó?
was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Joder. A ver, pongámonos a pensar. Si lo destruyo, crearía una libertad artificial y entonces las personas dejarían de ser felices con su vida falsa y entonces eso lo destruiría una comunidad porque la libertad no es buena siempre. Y si lo activo, entonces todas las vidas seguirían siendo normales y seguirían su rumbo con su felicidad y su aburrida vida cotidiana. Pero Pedro se enojaría. De Tin Marín de Dopigüey, Cucaramanga, Titrefé.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
Sí, lo
After they
hice.
kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Sí, yo quiero control y comida.
Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do.
No, pues
You were
cagate.
supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do
Debo-
much better than that.
Sí, hará algo
I'm
mejor.
afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex.
Mentiras,
How long until
Pedro,
detonation, then?
perdón, ya.
Let's say 2 minutes.
What?
Now this makes things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's
No!
your time to shine. You are the star.
No!
It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires.
Hijo de
This is
puta,
much
hijo
better
de
than what I had in
puta.
mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it.
Yo solo
Mere
quería
moments
comida.
until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going.
No, no me
What all
interesa, yo
this
solo quiero
means,
comida.
I barely
Y
know
salirte
where
acá.
to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated?
Sí, lo que sea.
All right, I'm in a
Fuck,
good
no,
mood. You're
no.
gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other
Pero-
times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I
Sí,
almost
quita esa
hate to
bomba,
see
quita esa
it
bomba, quita esa
go.
bomba.
But I'm
Mejor denme
sure
bala.
whatever I come up with on the next go around will be even better.
Sí.
My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so
quite
much.
eso, quite
You
eso.
know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why
Hijo de
not?
puta, no,
These
párela,
are precious
párela.
additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right
No,
now?
no sé nada.
Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me.
Ay,
Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? One solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley,
Uy, por fin se rió.
you're in for quite a
¿Cómo
disappointment.
fue?
But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead
Spoileador.
of watching
No,
a
¿por qué le
cutscene
contó
because I would
el
have watched
final?
you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this
Ay,
world,
solo
that's
apague esa
fine.
maldita bomba.
But I'm going to destroy it first,
Ah,
so
no.
you can't.
No. 427,
Take a look at the
427.
clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle.
No!
30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown to
Coño,
pieces.
coño,
Will you
verga,
cling
verga,
desperately
verga,
to your
no.
frail life? Or will you
No,
let it go
no.
peacefully? Another choice.
No,
Make it
dame
count.
más tiempo, por
It's all
favor,
the same
no
to me.
sé qué
All a
hacer,
part of the
no.
joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever up.
No, coño. ¿Cómo? Jamás voy a llamar a mi hijo Pedro. No.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.